Joining me now is Dr. Christos Georgalas, a surgeon who returned from Gaza just last week, where he volunteered at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. Christos is now back in Athens. Thanks so much for joining us. What kind of thing did you experience there? Bearing in mind we've just seen the terrible situation for so many children in Gaza.
I think it's very hard to describe. I mean, I don't think there is any other word than a slaughterhouse. It has been said before. I think that's the only accurate description one can give of what the situation is now in Gaza. As Rosie and Tom said earlier, we're working in the same hospital. There is a constant flow of trauma patients. And in my experience as a head and neck surgeon, the majority of patients were children. Children of 6, of 8, of 9, 10 years old that have been burned, that had shrapnel wounds on the neck, that had injuries in their trachea, their larynx, their vocal cords. And this kept going on and on and on. I mean, it felt like there is a war primarily against the children. At the same time, there has been no supplies into Gaza for the last 2 months, which meant that both the staff and the patients were malnourished, had no access to food, very limited access to food actually. And on top of that, the evacuation orders that meant that 500,000 people would have to move in the space of a few hours. It was an unbearable situation. I cannot describe it in any other way.
You're a doctor, you're a surgeon, you're used to seeing people with injuries, that's part of your job. But in experiencing this, how traumatic was it for you and the other professionals who volunteered their time?
To be honest, a lot of the courage I got there, I got it from the surgeons who were already working there, the Palestinian doctors. I must say that I was impressed with their resilience and also the high level of medical skills. They have been working under incredible circumstances for the last 19 months, and they have if one may say that, try to adapt to these circumstances by showing up the best in their capacities, by using the best in their capacities. But it's not easy. If I may make a comparison, I worked for 8 years in central hospitals in London and then 8 years in the University of Amsterdam. In 16 years of working as a head and neck surgeon, I didn't encounter the amount of injuries. I saw this 1 month in Gaza.
And you were at Nasser Hospital because Al-Shifa Hospital had been the focus of Israeli activity. Now, the Israel government would say they're targeting these places because they believe that beneath them are Hamas command and control centres. In your experience, when you were there, what did you see of Hamas? Did you see anything of Hamas? Did you see anything that the Israelis say exists beneath some of these buildings?
I think that not only me, there have been now hundreds probably of foreign doctors, and I haven't heard anyone, and that was my experience as well, witnessing anything remotely looking like military activity anywhere near the hospital. And remember, we lived in the hospital. So both me and Rosie and Tom, we lived on the 4th floor of Nasser Hospital. And I never saw anyone even remotely carrying a gun in this 1 month I was in the hospital, which I must say, in other hospitals I have worked, including London and Amsterdam, in some cases there were some police officers or there would have been some soldiers, someone maybe carrying a gun. I never saw a single person with a gun. I'm not saying, I'm not a politician, I'm not a journalist. I'm saying my experience as a doctor.
Which is what we're keen to hear about, Dr. Christos. At the same time, we saw in that piece young Hightam and the terrible injuries that they have suffered, alongside them, their grandfather as well. When you were dealing with those who came in with the injured, do they talk to you about the wider situation? Do they talk about Hamas, or is it understandably focused on the loved one that's in front of them?
Exactly. No one, believe me, they are there to get care, and we are there to provide this care. And none of us has any inclination for any political discussions, either from the patient's part or from the doctor's part. And I wouldn't want to know, to be honest. What I saw is a constant stream of injured children, sometimes with the parents, sometimes alone because the parents have been injured or killed. And the politics of the situation wasn't something that was relevant at that moment.
A lot of the bigger conversations now are on potential ceasefire, which of course a lot of people will be hoping for, especially in Gaza, and getting more aid in. What do you think about these moves to try to get injured children out?
Yes, I think it's fantastic. It's something great. But number one priority at this moment is to stop the killing. That there must be a ceasefire. The bombing should stop. The hospital itself was attacked twice, and that was supposed to be the safest place in all of Gaza. All the area around the hospital, everything in Gaza was like killing fields. Every place was potentially a target. And there is no point in getting children injured outside of Gaza if first we don't stop this constant stream of maimed, injured children coming to the hospital. I think a ceasefire is critical, is vital at this moment to be ensured.
Final question. Of course, you're not there now, and your own safety is pretty important because what can you do if you get hurt? But would you go back to help again? Would you go back to volunteer, Doctor?
I'm in constant contact with my colleagues in Nasser, and I promised them, and I hope to fulfill this promise to be back. And I also promised or hoped that this will be under peaceful conditions, more peaceful conditions. And I'm really, really looking forward to this.
Dr. Christos Georgalas, we really appreciate you talking to us this afternoon here on Sky News from Athens. Thank you very much.
Thank you.